Wait 1 second for the live. Good morning and welcome everybody. I'm going to hand it over to Melinda to kick us off.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Melinda Sigel. I am your MC today. I want to welcome you to 1 Million Cups. If you haven't had a chance already, please download the app or open the app and sign in. This way we can make sure that you are on our official list, which we send in to 1 Million Cups. And also it gives you an opportunity to communicate with everybody after the meeting. One Million Cups is about entrepreneurship, community, and education. Our mission is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. Our key pillars are presentations, not pitches, authentic connections, not networking. We're run for the community, by the community. Our culture is safe and supportive environment. 1 Million Cups is co-owned by all who show up and support radical and intentional inclusivity. That's organizers, presenters, and attendees. 1 Million Cups is all volunteer-led. We rotate new organizers often, and we fuel your presentation pipeline together as a community. A little bit more about us. We send out weekly emails and information about our presenters. We share content online. If you haven't had a chance to, or if you can right now, please log in to Facebook Live and share us live to your friends on Facebook. And then we provide feedback to everybody. Our organizers are Danelle Johns, Jen Dalton, Tony Barnett, Myosha Mendes, John Yu, John Rutenberg, Renetta Jones, Marnie Miller, and Rosemary Savino, as well as myself. And we're there to help you if you've got any questions, if you'd like to become a presenter, or if you'd like to learn more about us. This morning, we have two sponsors. First, we have Office Evolution, and Jen, you're going to talk a little bit about them this morning.
I am. So welcome again, everyone. We have monthly sponsors. And to tell you a little bit about Office Evolution in Tyson's Corner, it's a great co-working and shared workspace. They have drop-in opportunities, virtual memberships. They also have private offices as well as we get back to office and get back into work. They also have large spaces where we normally meet as 1 Million Cups. So reach out to John Yu from Office Evolution. It's a great place to work. They have lots of social events, business learning, etc. And if you're building your community as an entrepreneur, that's a great place to start. Thank you.
One of our new sponsors this month is NABO, National Association of Women Business Owners, and Lisa Nicholas is here to tell us more about NABO.
Thanks, Linda. I do want to say Office Evolution is amazing. I used to have a co-work space there and absolutely loved it. And John is fantastic. So I think I did right up until COVID, actually. So yes, check out Office Evolution. So NABO, the National Association of Women Business Owners, we're a nationwide organization with local chapters. And we like to refer to ourselves as a sisterhood of support. We're a community of female business owners here to help women succeed professionally and personally. We do that by way of events, educational programs, and a sisterhood that uplifts, nurtures, and promotes women leaders. For 45 years, we've provided a nurturing community for women business owners to come together, learn, and promote each other. We've fostered strong corporate collaborations and strategic alliances and partnerships like this one with 1 Million Cups, and over the years have developed into a formidable economic force and change agent for the greater DC and national business environment. So if you'd like to check out any of our events, we hold monthly lunch and learns, usually the first Wednesday of each month. This month is a little different because of the holiday. And we also have monthly networking events that will soon be moving to in-person events in August. I will drop my email address in the chat again, because I dropped it in earlier and I think people that come in later don't see it. So I'll drop it in towards the end, but please reach out to me if you'd like more information. And thank you so much. Back to you, Melinda.
Thank you, Lisa. If you can send me your events, I will put them in our event calendar. This is how we operate our meetings. First of all, make sure everybody is on mute. When you are going to ask your question to participate, we ask you to unmute. You can hold down the shift bar and talk, or you can actually go to the little icon on the left-hand side and unmute yourself. If the moderator, when the moderator says your name, please unmute your microphone, say your name, who you are, and then ask your question. We ask that you keep your questions short and easy to communicate. And this way we are able to let everybody participate. We usually have a lot of people with a lot of questions and we share the time. When you're done, please put your microphone back on mute. And that's basically it. The moderator today is John Rutenberg. And our presenter today is Infi or INFI Financial. Rob, are you there?
Hey,
Ronald.
hello.
Robert.
Hello. Hello,
Ronald,
everybody.
go ahead. You're good.
Okay, I'm good. Okay, thank you all so much for being with me this morning. I first would like to thank Melinda and Tony, the people that reached out to me to help me throughout this process. Thank you all. Thank my mother for introducing me to this community, really. I just thought it was just an amazing concept, and just knowing how you all poured into her, I'm really looking forward to you all to pour into me. And thank you all to the participants, because everybody's voice counts, and it will definitely help me on my journey. So thank you so much. My name is Ronald Madlock, and my company is Infi Financial. And my large challenge question today is, how do I network to gain the trust of the business community? So a little history about me and this concept. My company is really built around the concept of infinite banking, or bank on yourself, or 770 accounts and things like that. That is really a concept of mirroring the banking process using a life insurance product. And and throughout our education and me working with clients, we show them and we teach them how that they can gain benefits from that, like life insurance, about having a life benefit, not just at death. And we show people how to do that, how they can do that, as well as we provide the products for them to do so. So actually my journey began in 2017, starting to study this concept. I started to study this concept when it really was not a lot of information online. It wasn't a lot of people for me to talk to. You know, I really talked to people that had about 20 years or so in life insurance, and they had never heard of the concept. It really kind of discouraged me. But at that time, I just got a policy just to say, hey, I should have something. In 2019, I was actually able to find someone that actually was providing the information around this concept, how I can use it, and what makes it important. And I said to them at that time, I said, this concept seems so powerful. And I said, if this thing does what you say it does, I have to make this a part of my life. I have to. And so I started my training in 2019. I was able to actually get the proper structure of a policy in order for me to get started. So after that, I received my training and license to be a licensed life insurance provider. And from there, I went ahead and did my LLC. Right now, the next milestone you'll see is now I'm doing it full time. I was doing it part time at first. I really enjoyed what I was doing in my regular 9 to 5, but I'm like, this concept right here can change lives. And I know we all look for fulfillment and things like that in our life and want to see the fruits of our labor. And I feel like setting people on the right path and them being able to enjoy generational success was absolutely a part of my plan. So, you know, with my family support, I stepped out on it, and now I'm a full-time entrepreneur teaching and helping out clients. So my plan for the next 6 months is really to build relationships um, with the business community. You know, things are a lot different when you're doing it part-time versus full-time. And I'm learning that it's all these little things and all these little nuances of having a full-time business that I'm learning, right? I'm definitely learning on the fly. But what I've noticed with uh, the clients that I meet with, the ones that understand this concept the most are the ones in the business community. Um, and it's because they are already looking for something. You know, it you know, it's that concept of you don't need to sell somebody what they're looking for already. They're looking for something that's going to give them protection. They're looking for something that's going to be stable, that's going to protect their principal, as well as allow them to grow and use that investment in other ways. So, which is really how I came to the concept. And next year, let's say next year around this time, I would love to have an office manager and at least two other agents underneath me that understand this concept and is as passionate about it as I am, so we can help more people. You know, I'm just one person. That's another one of those concepts that I'm learning, which is leveraging time and other people's skills and abilities. So those are the things that I'm definitely going to be focused on throughout the next year. Next slide, please. Yes, and as I just told you before, this is my target audience. Like I mentioned before, business owners and executives, they're already looking for something to protect their money, but also allow it to grow. And they're also thinking about protecting their legacy as well. The last thing that people want is to be able to amass assets and a fortune, and then when they leave, people are left without any type of direction. And that's what our concept gives them, right? It gives them not only a product, but a process in order to allow them to continue the growth of their assets and their money between their family or in their business. An aspiring business owner is next on the list because, again, one of the biggest issues that people have when they want to start a business, capitalization. Capitalization. How do I do it? How do I do it? Where I get the money from when they don't even know they can get the money from themselves. They can get the money from themselves, and whatever they spend, they can gain a benefit from that. And the last one are families grossing over at least $50,000 per year. And that is because usually around uh, that target number is what, 15,000 above what is considered middle class, because I think 35,000 is considered middle class. So at that time, you know, a lot of people might have disposable income, or they're thinking about moving up higher in that middle class lifestyle. You know, they usually have a home, cars, kids, things like that, that they're really thinking about protecting going forward. Next slide, please. Yeah, so what do we provide? We provide education and products that allow individuals to recapture control of their finances. And through our partnerships, uh, we we have a number of different partnerships. So for instance, we have a partnership because, oh, let me just say this. I am partnered with people with far more experience than me, people that have more experience in the space of infinite banking, in the space and using it for business reasons, for personal reasons, whatever. Again, I'm learning about that leverage. I'm actually putting it into practice. I'm one of those people. First of all, I'm not only a person that's trying to teach people about infinite banking, I'm actually doing it. So again, we're not just talking, we're actually doing it. So we have partnerships with Time Wheelwright's CPA firm for our customers. We also have a partnership with an organization that has software that we can put in, because a lot of people look at this as a debt reduction tool. So we have this tool that we can plug your debts, the things you want to pay off, pay down, and then we can formulate and create a policy and plan that's centered around exactly what you're trying to accomplish, right? We also, many of the people in the infinite banking space, we invest in real estate, right? So we have partnerships with real estate groups that we offer the opportunity for our customers to be able to get in on those real estate opportunities, either being a lender, because again, the infinite banking concept centers around banking, mirroring the banking concept to recapture the interest and everything that we would be paying somebody else, but it'll come back to us, right? So those are just some of the services we provide. And what is the market missing? The market is missing somebody that's really going out there looking for these entrepreneurs, looking for these business people. The people right now in the market are really just focusing in on family. And that's, and they focus in on that. And with my company specifically, I want to focus in and hone in on the business people, the people that, are already in business, because no matter how long we've been doing something, we can always learn something additionally, as well as those aspiring entrepreneurs and business owners to get them started on the right path. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, how do I network? Again, me being new to doing this full time, I would really love to know, how do I network and gain the trust in the business community? Thank you all for your time, and thank you for listening.
Melinda, may I?
Yes. Go ahead,
Hey,
John.
thank you, Ronald. Really appreciate your presentation, your clarity on your challenge question. I'm going to open it up to everyone.
Jen Dalton raised her hand.
Okay, Jen, kick it off, please.
Ronald, great presentation. Thank you. I have a couple of thoughts and questions, and some I'll share and some I'll put in chat so I don't become a chatty Cathy. But folks may or may not understand infinite banking. So if you could spend maybe 30 seconds just clarifying it around how does it remove the bank, so to speak, where you're really borrowing from yourself through financial instruments. Is that the right way to think about it, or how would you describe it sort of concisely to help the group know what that is?
Yes, thank you for that question. So the infinite banking concept is basically you taking control of your finances and being able to mirror the banking process. So far as we know about the banking process, well, many of us don't know. We know it, but we don't put it together. The bank gets their money from us from deposits, right? And then they give us what, less than 1%. And then they loan it back to us in the form of credit cards, house loans, car loans that could be anywhere from 4 to 15 to 20%, right? And then they make their profit on that difference, on that gap between what they owe us, because the money that we give them is an expense to them. So they need to go out and make money. So they make that profit. So what we do with the infinite banking process is we create a structure for you that you are able to make your own deposits into your own bank. And then when you want to use it for something, if you want to invest in something different, if you want to buy a car, anything like that, then you use that structure. You use the cash value that's in your life insurance policy as collateral. You take that money out, you loan that money out to yourself, right? And usually what we do is we have you, okay, Mostly what we have is entrepreneurs. So what they do is they have a business. So when they take the money out, they'll have a loan agreement between themselves and their business. They'll pay back the principal plus interest. And a lot of people go, well, why would you pay yourself interest? Well, you'll pay the bank interest and that's your money. Why not do it when it's your own structure? The great thing about it is the fact that you have control over the terms, you have control over the interest, you have control over whenever you pay anything back. So it's you gaining that control, regaining that interest that you are usually be paying to somebody else. And just like a car loan, in 5 years you'll be paid off. Well, if you implement the same concept, in 5 years you will have the car, you have all your payments back, plus the interest that that you charge yourself, and the growth of the policy as well. So
Perfect. That's perfect. Thank you. Just a couple quick thoughts to answer your challenge question.
yes.
From a credibility standpoint, I would definitely update your LinkedIn profile to show your business and what you're doing. I would also look at, you have Nelson Nash Institute. I'm guessing you got certified through them and you have that training, or are you in the process of that?
I'm in the process of that training. I was trained through somebody that already
Okay.
had that training. So,
But I think as the sort
Thank
of go-to institute for infinite banking, that's a great move. So perfect.
Thank you.
You could add that and put that you're in process getting certified if you want. And then my last thing is just our website. It looks great, but some of the links and click-throughs aren't quite what you probably need to get that credibility piece. Infinite banking and insurance is complicated. So whatever you can do to create simple infographics, create stories, examples, that would help increase credibility. And we'll keep all of this in chat. Don't worry about writing it down. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ronald.
Thank you, Jen. Lisa Nichols, I think had a question. Yeah.
I did. What are you doing right now to network and get the word out there?
Thank you so much, Lisa. I'm participating in 1 Million Cups. No, no, absolutely. I'm doing that, as well as I'm availing myself of different entrepreneurial groups digitally to try to, get the word out there and things like that. But that's what I've been doing so far, but I'm really interested in opportunities to get in front of groups like this, and also maybe some in-person type of opportunities to really talk to people and fill them out, and kind of they get my energy, I get those. But that's what I've been doing so far.
Okay, can I ask some follow-up questions and comments? Is that
Great.
Sure. So Ronald, I would actually sit down and figure out a plan of where you're going to spend your time. We all did it when we started our businesses, and a lot of it's just trying something out and seeing what works, but figure out where your target market is. Chambers of commerce might be a good place to start. So I would look around and decide, maybe pick the top 2 or 3 groups that you can use to network in, okay, and start being present in those, and not necessarily even presenting, but just building relationships. You're gonna have to build relationships to do this. It's a very relational type of business, so you've got to be relatable to people. You have to build those relationships. So I would start by doing that. And oh my gosh, another thought that totally flew out of my head. I was off camera because I had to go get coffee and it hasn't kicked in yet. But so start with that. And then also, I think a lot of what you're going to have to do is educational too. So I would figure out, I look at everything from a social media standpoint because that's where I'm immersed. I know that you're probably really hobbled in what you can put on social media, but I would actually try and figure out what you can and can't do on social, and start putting a lot of testimonials out from people who've done something like this. Because for some of us who don't know about it, it'd be like, oh, that sounds scary. I don't know if I'd be comfortable with it. So I think you've got to give some real life examples and lead with those a lot, and try and develop a social presence that educates and talks about those, to have people even start to build that trust factor in you to make them want to buy from you. Because I think you're like the know, like, and trust factor. I think your trust factor is going to be a little bit higher because it's a weird concept for some of us. So you've really got to, lean into how to get people to trust you. And that's building relationships, showing that it's worked for people and where it's worked. Just a few thoughts at the top of my head. And thank you, whoever wrote that in, because that is much better than what I said. So I love that you put it that way. Thank you.
Hey, Jen.
Thank
Who's
you.
going to write for me? Jen, you're writing for me all the time.
I mean, she's amazing, but Lisa, those were great thoughts and questions. I'm looking around the room, a question from John Rittenberg. So who do you see in the business community who are likely referral sources who you can meet with, who hang out with the consumers who ultimately are buying your product? And I don't have the answers, but it could be accountants. You mentioned one earlier, could be attorneys. It might be other insurance people who don't sell this unique product. And I just wonder if you've had a chance, and if you haven't, I urge you to think about who might be the folks who are in positions to refer you. And as Lisa said, they may require education. And I think that's an excellent first step. And as Lisa said, I once heard this, so it's nothing creative on my part, but stories sell, facts tell. So if you can tell a story about a success that had been working for a client or a case study of who's using this, that's very meaningful in the educational and trust building process. Melinda has questions.
Thank you.
Sure.
Great presentation, Ron. I wrote down a bunch of stuff, so I'm going to go through it quickly. One of the things I started thinking about is who you should be targeting. So one of the things I thought that you might be able to use that might get you some people to help you sooner would be some college interns, MBAs, and students. I wrote down incubators, startups. I also wrote down, and this is a big idea, you need to write a book. And you really do. Your concept is really, really fresh, and you can really get a lot of people as a business book for entrepreneurs, for startups, for small business that are looking for ways to fund their businesses. It could be a New York Times bestseller. The other thing you can do in writing the book is you could start to ask some of your partners that you're working with to write chapters. I saw this done when I lived in Chicago 20 years ago. Somebody who was brand new and was working in word of mouth marketing started asking all the people that were early word of mouth marketers to write chapters. They just wrote the prefix, the beginning of the book, and then the book came together. They were able to piece it together, and you could get a chapter on all the different types of things that your process is going to be teaching all of these entrepreneurs. So I think that's my really big idea. The other thing is you need to get out and start giving talks, but you may not be ready yet, but get into the lecture series, articles on LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn is another really great place for you to find a lot of people that are looking for what you're offering. And you may even find people to help you write chapters in this book that you're going to be working on. Just a couple ideas I wanted to throw out.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. Please put those in the chat when you get it, if you haven't already.
You'll have it on video too.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So Ronald, the beauty is you don't even have to listen to all these great ideas and thoughts and suggestions because it's being recorded and it's being chatted to you. It's perfect. So, but I have Deb Cohn and then Tony Barnett.
Morning, everyone. Good morning, Ronald. I
Good morning.
am Deb Cohen, a management consultant specializing in the area of human resources and leadership. So Ronald, one idea, and this piggybacks a little bit on what Melinda said, is that you try to connect with local universities in the business school, and in particular, perhaps the marketing department, and talk to some of the professors. So George Mason, I think, is ripe for this. There's also Georgetown, AU, and GW, but It seems to me this could be a double thing for you, which is ask the professors if they might, if they have any projects coming up for their students in the marketing class to see if they might be able to help you with some sort of a marketing campaign. But also a school like Mason and others as well, the MBA students there tend to be working professionals. And so they are a potential audience for you as well. So not only could you potentially get help for maybe a marketing plan from these folks, but also get into your target market, because they are not just full-time students, particularly in the Washington, D.C. area. Some of the universities like Georgetown have full-time cohorts for MBAs, and so they're not necessarily working, but again, they are potential clients for you. So that might be something that might work.
Thank you.
Great. Tony.
Ronald, sorry I wasn't here for the beginning of the presentation, but you did a great job. So thank you. And I appreciate you getting up as early as you did to do this today. I don't think everybody realizes you're in Chicago.
Actually, he's in Fort Worth.
He's in Texas today. Okay. What I wanted to mention is your focus is on business. What businesses can appreciate or can best assist you in moving forward in the infinite banking model? And there's really only one, and that's accountants. Accountants and bookkeepers, because and your model fits working with them as a trusted partner, because you'll be then brought in and the trust issue will be eliminated. So instead of going directly for the target business, start marketing or start doing your efforts towards accountants and bookkeepers and CPAs who can then join on and partner with you in bringing you into their world and their circles. It's a different lift, but it's every business owner has resistance up to people who are coming out with new ideas. I get people almost every day emailing for some concept or some business model that they want to sit there and try and implement, and it's just pushing them off. If you go in and start working directly with the accountants and bookkeepers, they then will include you in their processes with their clients, and that helps you. You might have to share a little bit of the commissions with them, but it moves you forward faster. And then once you start building that brand, then you can go ahead and start pushing out with all the things that other ideas that you've been getting here. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for all your help, Tony.
No problem.
So Sarah Conde.
Hi, good morning. Hi, Ronald. Nice to meet you.
Good morning.
I work with high-end independent consultants who consult to the Fortune 500. So they're a little bit, they are billing over 300,000 usually individually. So they have a lot of net worth and assets, and they want to find tax efficient vehicles. And so I say that to you because the sales that I do are highly consultative, almost like a financial advisor. And it is really hard. And what we do is complex, and it is based on trust, right? Because if you're going to trust me to manage your portfolio of clients and do your billing, that's really hard to get that. So a big thing that I have found is, like some of the other speakers have shared, is relationships with trusted financial professionals that will refer you, and you can be part of their offering, where you can do rev share and what's in it for them. And I mean, when I did my trust, I went with the lawyer that my financial advisor used. I went with the insurance provider that they said to use, right? Because this is not what we do every day, and people are busy. So no one's going to find you online. However, or at least not the type of quality trust leads. However, your online presence is still incredibly important for building that trust. Think about your website, your LinkedIn profile, and your online presence as a landing destination for your leads to make them feel, and that can be leads or referral partners, to make them feel like, yes, this person is a credible source that I trust my clients with. one of the things that you can do, you don't have to overthink it, right? It can be simple. Sometimes simple is better. But like when I look at you, and I know somebody already brought this up, but I look at you on LinkedIn, I think this is your profile. It looks like you were in United States Senate. Is that you?
Yeah, that's
So,
it.
okay, so definitely want to update that to kind of show that, you know, what you're doing now. And that was just confusing to me because people only have so much time. They're going to look quickly. It's a very impressive background, but it's giving me a couple minutes to read it. So there's that. And then just really focusing on how you can maybe get referrals. Because I think for you, it's going to be all word of mouth and referrals. And a way to jump the line on that really is working with other financial providers and showing them how they can get something from you that is going to benefit their clients. So I agree with the things that people have said so far. I think I'm a very passionate person too. I love your passion. I love your energy. Your story about, again, you looked for something in the market, you couldn't find it, so you went to build it. Classic entrepreneurial story that makes people more interested in what you have to say than just going through the facts. So be yourself and stick to that. Just maybe get some help to kind of polish out what are people's impressions of you from a trust standpoint, you know, online, because people will do their research first.
Great.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
So, question from John Rutenberg again, if I may. So, are you focused geographically? Is your target market, your sphere of influencers, the folks around you, geographic, in your own thoughts as you think about where you're going to find clients or referrers in the future? I think it's important for you to make the decision around that, and I would recommend a tight geographic focus. Again, I don't know you well enough. You might have major contacts in principal cities that would change my opinion. But if your spheres of influence are in your market, in your region, I think that's great. And stay concentrated on that. And as others have said, the relationships are what helps you produce your credibility. That leads to more work. So, you know, my suggestion is to think through where are your allies and focus geographically around those.
Great. Thank you.
Sure. Melinda, did you have an additional comment?
Sure. I like what you just said, John, and it made me start thinking about an ambassador program because I don't think your contacts are regional. I think they're more the type of entrepreneur, the startup business, the demographic of new businesses and seeking out funding. I think that's something really strong. And you may be able to glean from that, again, by reaching out to entrepreneurs that have gone from, let's say, their garage to multi-billion-dollar companies and try and figure out what their secret sauce was or is and share that and have them share with you so that you can build some of these things into your product and what you're doing. Because a lot of people have great visionary ideas. They come up with fabulous concepts for new business, and they don't have the money and they don't know where to go for the money. And they know that they can't really get the loans. So they have to take 3 or 4 steps backwards. They may start with 1 million cups and come see us and we help them get to that next level, but they all get to the level that they need funding. And when they need funding, these are probably great ways to find folks that have gotten beyond that, finding out what they did, and also find out if they have that interest to build their own funds, which I think most entrepreneurs do, because that means you don't have to sell stock, you don't have to give away ownership and all sorts of other things. It just helps them build their business and stay focused on their business. So there may be a way to build ambassadors or whatever you want to call them around the country. and some of them, and maybe going to a lot of the big MBA colleges and universities and professors that are teaching how to become an entrepreneur at the MBA level, showing them other ways that students can get, not students, but new business owners can get funding. Again, getting in at the inception, at the seed stage, so you can grow it from the ground up.
Melinda, great comment.
Thank you.
Question, Ron, and I'm sorry if I'm missing anyone, but wave at me. But I'm trying to read the chats to see if anyone's, asking a question. A lot of great comments in the chat. So Ronald, I'd like you to think through you narrowing in on a different income range. In one of your slides, you spoke to a $50,000 income range. And at the same time, this product, which I'm very unfamiliar with, so I plead ignorance. The appetite for that might be much higher at a much higher income level, because it's potentially more of an alternative to the most traditional ways of moving forward. And people at higher income levels might have more disposable income. Okay, and so I just would like you to continue to focus on who the ultimate buyer is and think about the plight of a two-income family, whatever they're earning, and they have a couple of young kids and they're pouring their money into diapers and whatever. And I don't know how much disposable income they have at the same time they're trying to get a business off the ground. And so, again, people who make lots more money are more sophisticated sometimes, but they also might be in a position to take some of their money and utilize it and buy the insurance the way you've described.
Really good point. Thank you for that.
So if there are no other questions,
Actually, I've got another one on top of what you just said.
okay, go
The
for it.
50,000 income puts me right at millennials, and millennials are actually a really great demographic to go after. Right now, millennials are buying old homes for $10,000, $25,000, $75,000. And in their free time, they're fixing them up to be their big homes, their forever homes. There's a mindset with the millennials that for a long time, and you're one of them, I assume too, Ronald. I see the smile. That you can relate to this target audience because you are this target audience. I mean, you're the poster child of it. Think about it that way. And maybe that's something else that you can write articles about and be seen and heard on how you approach something, which is a millennial style of fixing things and coming up with new ways to do things. Yes, it's entrepreneurial too, but I think as a millennial, you've got a natural fit into the target audience. I think you should stick with it because, as I said, they're doing a lot of innovative things. They weren't buying homes for forever. Now they're buying homes, and it's a major market. While they're buying homes, they're going to now be looking for how do they fund the rest of their life from this starting point. And there may be ways to tie into the do-it-yourself or millennial, with HTV and a lot of other things like that. I mean, I just think it's a natural fit for you.
Okay. So again, let's give Ronald a round of applause for having the courage to stand up and listen to all of us. And I just saw Oscar's hand. Oh, that's applause. Thank you, Oscar. That's excellent. Okay, absolutely. So I get the honor of asking the final question of the day. And of course, you've heard great questions and ideas already. So give us your best thought on what we as 1 Million Cups can do for you going forward? How can we help you best?
Thanks for that question, John. First of all, I am blown away and very appreciative of all of the ideas shared here this morning. Thank you for taking your time. Thank you for using your brain power, probably pre-coffee, um, to use it on me to give me your insight. You you guys are amazing. First of all, thank you all so much. And again, with these different questions and different ideas, I would love for me to have the opportunity, really the pleasure to continue the conversation with anybody that's a part of this, that would love to continue the conversation. I put my contact information into the chat. With me being new into business and things like that, I'm really looking for somebody that has the ability, or to serve as a pseudo mentor for me as well. I'm very interested. I'm open to ideas. I'm open to people helping me make a plan, because what I do not only breeds success for me, but for the clients that I serve. And I would like to be able to have the opportunity to serve more people. So thank you all so much. And I love for somebody, if they have the ability, like I said, my contact information, I just put it in the chat. So please, you can reach out to me, you can call me, you can email me. And if you have some time, or just have some additional time to chat. So thank you.
Again, thank you. And now back to Melinda.
Great presentation, Ronald. Trying to see my slide. There we go, that way. 1 million cups. Actually, we want you to share that with your local networks, and we want everybody to join us at least once a month. And we're looking for great presenters. We provide presenters with the 1 Million Cups Fairfax audience, and we share the graphics. We highlight you once a month. Oh, this is our ambassador program. I totally apologize. I couldn't see with the black line over my screen. But we have just started an ambassador program, and we're really looking for ambassadors, and I could talk to this. We talked about it on Monday in our leadership meeting. Ambassadors, we'll be supporting 1 Million Cups, and what we're asking you to do, if you are interested in joining us as an ambassador, is to share 1 Million Cups to your friends, your peers, people you know, invite them to our meetings. Once a month, we'll be asking our ambassadors to be part of our meetings. And then in addition to that, what we're also doing is that we'll put them into our presentation, so you know who our ambassadors are. And it will really be a great way to grow with us, because we find that we're growing and we need more people to help us as we grow. There is a form. I think Jen put it into the chat. If not, I will when I'm not with the active screen, because I can't do that right now. But we've got a form for you to fill out, and we will get that to you. Or come back and talk to any of the leadership team and ask us to send you information about the ambassador program. We'd love to have you. Tony, do you want to add anything else on that?
I would like to.
Oh, John, go ahead, please.
So I'd like to highlight that John Foster, who's on this call on our Zoom meeting, is our first ambassador, and Dan Lender also has agreed to be an ambassador. And so we're very actively focused on having our ambassadors help bring new people to the meeting and potential presenters. That's really the focus of the ambassadors, and we'll give them the proper credit, because we're going to whip them into shape and make them work to get us new presenters.
Thank you, John.
You bet. Thank you, John Foster.
Yeah, and thank you, John
Absolutely.
Foster, who's here today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Also, we are featuring our past presenters and some of the past presenter news. I'm just moving a few things over here. Monica has gotten more famous. She was able, I know she talked about joining, I think it was the Macy's, is that right? I'm not reading but right here it's showing her with the veteran Grow America, the Rosie Network, and some other things. And I think she just joined the Macy's Entrepreneur Program. I think I remember her talking about that. Jen Dalton has been doing tons of great things. She heard about Teresa Black and her amazing sweet treats. And we will continue to give more updates. And we're looking for more and more people that we can feature, and we will keep showing you and sharing our past presenter news. Next week, we need a presenter. So we have a few people that we're talking to that have been approved, but if you know somebody who might be interested, please let us know. And we will let everybody know soon who our presenters are for next week. So the rest of this month is open. We've got a couple thoughts on who may be on the 28th. I don't know if they'll be ready on the 21st next week. August is open. And as I just said, we are looking for presenters. So we need all of you to help us find presenters who have a entrepreneurial business, and where are they stuck? What can we help you with? It can be at any level. It can even be at your total startup stage if you want. Upcoming events. Couple of things. This has been a slower week for events. I want to jump down right away to the Fairfax County Economic Development Authority. They've got a huge event next Tuesday morning. It's from 10 a.m. to 11:15. I put it in the chat, but I'm not sure it's visible. I'll put it in the chat again when I am not behind the screen. But they have a special speaker. His name is Emmett McHenry. He's the chairman and CEO of Cycuron, but he is a really, really famous inventor. He's the inventor engineer who really came up with the internet. Network Solutions, his company, was awarded a contract with the US government to create and manage the world's first domain name. He created a complex code which allowed any person the ability to search the internet and use email services without having studied and knowledge in computer programming. He officially started the .com, .net, .edu, and .gov, which has led to so many pieces of growth for the internet, and it's going to be a very, very exciting presentation. Also on Tuesday, the virtual roundtable meets, and that's open to anybody who would like to come to it. It's a great networking group because everybody gets to know each other with a presentation, but then there's a mastermind discussion every week, and it's usually education that will help you in your networking skills. Highly recommend that. And then also the Central Fairfax Chamber has another event that same day, and it's Discover Your Leadership Style and Become an Effective Leader. And Tasha Troy is going to be leading that. And that's really going to be a really deep discussion on what kind of leader are you, and then how do you lead people of different styles and all the things you need to do. Want to thank everybody for coming today. I mean, entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. We do a lot of this by ourselves. We acknowledge the barriers that you might face in starting and growing your business. We're fueled by passionate entrepreneurs who are looking to support and learn from people like us. On behalf of our organizing team, we invite you to join us every Wednesday morning and let us know if you'd like to get more involved. We would love you to step up as ambassadors and more, and keep building your relationships. We are part of the Kauffman Foundation, who works with communities in entrepreneurship and education to increase opportunities that allow people to learn, to take risks, and to own their success. And there are over 150 chapters around the country that all meet from 9 to 10 o'clock in their own time zones on Wednesdays. And if you want to look at another group in another time zone, that's a good way to see what other groups are doing. And please come back and Thank you for coming today. We open up the rest of the meeting for conversation, and I will get rid of the screen and stop the screen share so that everybody can see each other and we can talk and network.
Great job, Ronald, and thank you.
Yeah, Ronald, thank you so much. It
No,
was
thank you
wonderful.
all. No, thank you all. I appreciate it. You know, this is good. This is good. Setting out that great foundation. I really appreciate it.
Ronald, one of the things I've worked with lots of people who are fantastic at their jobs and they transition to go independently. And I'll tell you, being successful independently is much different than just being successful